Yo, what's up, Guardians? My name is D Flawless, and today we have a Destiny video. Bungie just posted an article taking a closer look at Void 3.0 from the dev team. So let's go over it together. We're gonna read it, react to it, and give our thoughts on it. A closer look at Void 3.0. Let's get into it. With the Witch Queen expansion for Destiny 2, Guardians will face unparalleled threats, from exploring the seat of Savathun's power, her mysterious and nefarious throne world, to facing the Lucent Brood, hive enemies capable of wielding the light. Players will be teased in ways they've never been challenged before. Teased. I said teased. It's tested. I'm leaving it in. Players will be tested. I also like the idea of players being teased. It's a good thing, then, that Guardians come prepared. In addition to a new power cap and a host of new weapons and armor to use in the fight against the enemies of humanity, Guardians will also be imbued with brand new capabilities thanks to some significant changes coming to the Void elemental power coinciding with the Witch Queen expansion. The Void update, what we call Void 3.0, is the first overhaul of Destiny 2's elemental powers to come in Year 5. Look for arc and solar changes in the future. Void abilities haven't really been developed since 2017, and they were a reaction to the sandbox that was in Destiny 1. Said Destiny designer Kevin Yanis. Void 3.0 and the other elemental changes to come, the team had a set of goals they wanted to attain to bring these classic elemental powers in line with the challenge level and balance of today's sandbox, as well as to strengthen the overall fantasy that is at the heart of each element's playstyle. We're trying to codify each of the damage types so that each element has its own world of gameplay that it's dominant over, Giannis said. For example, stasis is the domain of crowd control. We looked at what Void was about thematically and mechanically. Void is about gravity, it's about space, it's about the cosmic. That means we want things to feel like you're shooting black holes that drag people in. There's a lot of personality we can draw from that creates cool mechanics. The first blog 3.0 change is the introduction of aspects and fragments. First introduced with Stasis and Beyond Light, aspects and fragments give players more options to choose from when it comes to abilities they want to use in battle. As with Stasis, aspects are class-specific selectable items that give players additional actions they can perform within their elemental subclass. Fragments are non-class specific complementary perks that players can select to enhance how they play the game. How players choose to combine their aspects and fragments is a key component of build crafting their Guardian. When developing the new aspects for Void 3.0, the team worked hard to center them around new actions, verbs, as the team refers to them, that define what Void should mean going forward for players. It wasn't just a passive or a perk. It wasn't just like a passive or a perk. It should feel like a new thing that you were adding to your toolkit, Giannis said. All of the actions feel like they have new performance to them. They are reinforcing the core fantasy. These verbs manifest themselves in the forms of new actions for players to use in the heat of battle. New actions such as the Trapper's Ambush will find the hunter diving and slamming into the ground, weakening enemies and causing nearby allies to become temporarily invisible. Ooh. Titans will be able to grant barriers to allies, and Warlocks will be able to summon entities from beyond the void to help turn the tide of battle. More on all these actions below. None of that was available before the Witch Queen, said Giannis. The old Void subclass Diamond system was rooted around a melee augment, a super augment, and then two passives. What we've done is essentially added two new sections. Yes, you still get your melee. Yes, you still get your super, but now you get two new things that either plus up your existing kit or give you something you didn't have before. We've taken elements and abilities from the diamonds and promoted them to full-size aspects, said Destiny designer Samuel Dunn. The Warlock's Chaos Accelerant ability is a good example, where the Warlock can charge their Void Grenade into more powerful versions and throw them. While that's something that existed before, we believe that the performance and the identity of that ability is strong and feels like a unique ability, enough to stand on its own as an aspect. With the 3.0 upgrades, we're trying to take the cool parts of what already exists and then add in new stuff where we feel like there are holes to be filled. Before we take a deeper look at each class implementation of Void 3.0, let's align on some terminology. Some Void attacks apply one or more of 6 buffs and debuffs that confer a tactical advantage to the Guardian. All right, so we're gonna get some definitions here. Suppress. The target is taken out of any active ability when suppressed. While suppressed, the target cannot activate any ability or movement modes. Combatants are disoriented. Weaken. The target takes increased damage, has slowed movement, and is disoriented. Volatile. The target will explode and avoid detonation upon taking additional damage if the target dies before Volatile has taken enough damage to detonate. The detonation happens anyway. Invisibility. The player vanishes from sight and does not appear on radar. Overshield. The player gains a protective barrier that immediately stacks on top of their existing health and shields and intercepts incoming damage. Overshield reduces the damage taken from PvE combatants. Devour. The player is immediately restored to full health upon activating Devour from any source and is granted grenade energy. When the player gets any kill with Devour active, they are restored to full health, granted grenade energy, and their Devour buff timer is extended. Now let's take a class by class look at how Guardians will benefit from the Void 3.0 changes in Destiny 2. Titan. A Void-enabled Titan is the stalwart shield of a fire team. Whether serving up Ward of Dawn protective bubbles to withstand furious enemy assaults or charging the battlefield shield in hand, mowing down opponents, one shield toss at a time. Previously, the two supers, Ward of Dawn and Sentinel Shield, were tied to one another from a control standpoint, so that Titans had to use similar input and sit through a chunk of the Sentinel Shield activation animation before the Ward bubble was created. Looks like we're going to get a fast activation on the Ward of Dawn super. Oh, that's quick. With Void 3.0, the two functions are separated, which means that the Ward of Dawn is now nearly instantly activated. In addition, the Ward of Dawn has been moved to the fastest super cooldown tier, making it much more available to the Titan in need. This change means it's much better reactionary defensive tool, said Destiny design Mike Humboldt. Such as an example, if a hunter were to jump at you and cast Blade Barrage, the Titan can now pretty reliably activate Ward of Dawn before any of the enemy supers land and survive as a result. Just as before, Sentinel Shield will allow Titans to traverse the battlefield bashing foes with their Void Shield or tossing their shield to create as melee attacks. Thrown shields will damage opponents and apply Volatile if Controlled Demolition is equipped, while Shield Bash kills will grant a full overshield. And then we have an example of the Titan Void Bastion offensive. So shooting, boom. Oh, the Bastion shield. He's got an overshield now. He's back into the fight behind the barricade. That barricade looks bigger than I'm used to it, but he's got an overshield and he's on the offensive, punching stuff. Man, that shield lasts a while, huh? The Titan's offensive bulwark. There are 3 Titan aspects to choose from with Void 3.0. Controlled Demolition. Hitting a target with a Void ability or volatile detonation will make them volatile. Bastion. Casting Barricade generates overshield for yourself and nearby allies. Those bunkering behind the shield will regenerate overshield over time and extend the overshield's duration. So that's actually, let's rewatch that. That's actually what was happening. He's shooting, boom, he's got the overshield, steps out, puts in a few shots, he's back to low health, but now he's behind the barricade, he's refilling the shield, back to low health, steps behind, overshield is back up. And now he's back punching, and now we see his base health regenerating. Okay, so that's what happened. That's really cool. So that's an example of Bastion in action. Offensive Bulwark. When you have overshield or are inside the Ward of Dawn, grenades charge significantly faster and you have increased melee damage. You also gain an additional shield throw for your Sentinel Shield super. Hunter. The Hunter prioritizes movement and stealth in the heat of battle. Whether it's enjoying a few moments of tactical recalibration in a tense encounter by briefly vanishing after dodging an attack, or setting snares and traps to disorient and slow their opponent, a fight with a hunter is always a study in agility, surprise, and deadly precision. The Hunter Vanishing Step. So let's see what they've done to the Vanishing Step. Boom, we're in the fight. Tether goes out, dodge, invisible. Now, enemies don't know where we are. Invisibility, we see it on a timer. Kills the ghost, the hunter vanishing step. Well, I guess this is just everyone's going to get the vanishing step. Let's see if we see anything else. Any buffs on the screen. Boom, tether goes out. It's a single shot tether, looks like. Vanishes. Enemies don't know where they are. It has a chance to reload. Rocket goes out. Crush the ghost. Boom. In addition to the Spectral Blade Super, the Shadow Shot variants that hunters are accustomed to, Deadfall and Mobius Quiver, will still be found in the Void 3.0 updates, though there are some changes to be aware of. For example, Mobius Quiver will fire volleys of 3 arrows that will now track targets and make them volatile if they are tethered. In addition, with Deadfall, the Void anchors that are dropped after Shadow Shots will now pull enemies toward it when it impacts a surface or a target. The Hunter's Snare Bomb melee ability will now weaken opponents. In PvP, players caught in a snare bomb will have their HUD removed and an obscuring screen effect applied for a short period of time. Well, that sounds good for hunters. Hunter's Mobius Quiver, Trapper's Ambush, and Stylish Executioner. Let's check this out. So we have Perpetual Motion, boom. Okay, that's Mobius Quiver. Okay, we see 3 volleys go out with each quiver. He's got a 2 stylish buff, whatever that means. What's 2 stylish? Throws out a suppressor nade. That's the invisible slam. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, the finish. He blows a kiss at him. We gotta watch that again. Boom. Mobius Quiver, volleys of 3, suck him in. Shots go out. He's invisible from some effect. He's getting a 2 stylish debuff. Wow. And then blows a kiss, seals the deal. Woo! Hunters will have 3 aspects to select from with Void 3.0. Trapper's Ambush. Players can activate Quick Fall to spin their melee charge and dive to the ground, creating a smoke cloud upon impact. Enemies caught in the cloud are weakened and allies become invisible. In addition, Snare Bombs, upon attaching to surfaces or enemies, cause nearby allies to become invisible. Vanishing Step dodging makes the hunter invisible. And then Stylish Executioner, defeating a void debuff target, weakened, suppressed, or volatile, grants invisibility and true sight. While invisible and after a stylish execution, your next melee attack weakens enemies. Wow. Wow. So Void 3.0 is going to be nice to hunters. I'm curious how this is going to play out in PvP. I think Quick Fall is going to be a meta. You go in, you quick fall, shotgun, boom, or, they're going to be weakened, disoriented, and all that stuff. Oh, I see that being a big meta. And then the stylish execution, you're going to be able to do a finisher, get true sight, and go invisible. Wow. Warlock. The infinite mysteries of the universe are the playgrounds of warlocks. When they aren't nose deep in an ancient text, warlocks are floating across the battlefield, healing allies and creating havoc among their foes. Void 3.0 fine-tunes these powers, and the warlock's new aspects will, among other new abilities, summon a brand new type of support from the yawning void of space-time. The Nova Warp Super lets warlocks quickly teleport from one spot to the next, and players can choose to let loose a deadly void eruption. With the Vortex Super enhancement, a player's Nova Bomb will now draw enemies into the singularity it creates, damaging them once inside. Casting a Nova Bomb with the Cataclysm enhancement will cause it to travel across the battlefield and seek out enemies. Detonations will shatter into smaller secret projectiles, and shooting the Nova Bomb will cause it to detonate early. The Warlock's melee Pocket Singularity fires an unstable ball of void energy that detonates when it nears enemies, pushing them away from the blast and making them volatile. According to Destiny designer Mike Humboldt, he expects this melee will find particular use in the Crucible. You do a lot of PvP testing, and knocking someone who is trying to shotgun rush you off the map with a Pocket Singularity is always a good time. Please let that be what they're showing. The Warlock Child of the Old Gods. Let's check it out. Boom, SMG out, drops a rift. We see a Void Buddy going out, seeking enemies, and he's just getting all his health back. We gotta rewatch that. Let's watch the health. Boom, and boom. Okay, so you see he gets a chunk of health. He's not getting all of his health back. He's getting little chunks of it. Takes down that hive, drops the rift. Void Buddy goes out. Boom. I'm guessing they're volatile. Interesting. He's got kill clip on this thing. As with Titans and Hunters, Warlocks will have 3 aspects to wield in Void 3.0. Chaos Accelerant, hold down the grenade button to overcharge your Vortex, Axion Bolt, Scatter, and Magnetic Grenades. Magnetic grenades overcharge into handheld supernova. Feed the void. Defeat an enemy with a void ability to activate devour. Child of the old gods. Cast your rift to summon a void soul. When you damage an enemy with your weapon, your void soul will launch itself towards them and detonate nearby, attaching draining tendrils which deal damage and weaken the target. When your void soul deals damage, it restores either melee and grenade energy if running healing rift, or health if running empowering rift back to you. Defeating an enemy who is being drained grants rift energy. Let's read that again. Child of the old gods, cast your rift to summon a void soul. Okay, you drop a rift, you get a void soul. When you damage an enemy with your weapon, your void soul launches itself towards enemies, detonates, and attaches draining tendrils, which damage and weaken the target. When your void soul deals damage, it restores either melee and grenade energy if you're running a healing rift, and if you're running an empowering rift, it will give you health back on the drain. And defeating an enemy who is being drained grants rift energy. Okay, so you can chain your rift, kind of. Designer Samuel Dunn calls the Child of the Old Gods aspect a passion project for him, something the team worked on for quite a while to get right. I'm a Warlock main at heart, and I really love summoning little friends like Arc Soul and Bleak Watcher to do my bidding. So I wanted to make sure that Void Soul felt like a black hole, but with a little personality to it. We have Chaos Accelerant in action. Let's check this out. Chaos Accelerant powers up his Axion bolt. We kind of already know how Chaos Accelerant works. That's a quick charge though. The Warlock's Chaos Accelerant. To complement the class-specific aspects, Void 3.0 will also introduce a number of new fragments, which offer new perks to build upon, as well as add bonuses or penalties to your Guardian's intrinsic stats. Here's a look at a few of the new fragments to come. Echo of Expulsion. Void ability kills cause enemies to explode. Intellect bonus. Damaging enemies with grenade grants melee energy strength penalty. Echo of Domineering. After suppressing a target, gain greatly increased mobility for a short duration, and your equipped weapon is reloaded from reserves. Discipline bonus. After suppressing a target, gain greatly increased mobility for a short duration, and your equipped weapon is reloaded from reserves. Echo of Undermining. Void grenades weaken enemies. Discipline penalty. Another significant change for Void 3.0 is that all subclasses will have access to all Void grenade types in the game. For example, a Hunter, you'll be able to run a suppressor or magnetic grenade instead of choosing between just Void Spike, Void Wall, or Vortex. In addition, some grenades will see upgrades. For example, the lingering field created by Vortex grenades will now suck enemies into it. Players who have played Destiny before the Witch Queen expansion will have access to all Void 3.0 aspects in most fragments with the launch of Witch Queen on February 22nd. Several fragments will be available after the World First raid completion. New Destiny 2 players will earn their aspects and fragments as part of the new light game experience. Across all these ability tweaks, new powers, and build crafting options, one theme is clear. The team behind Void 3.0 is focused on giving Guardians the chance to fulfill the fantasy of their chosen class by giving them ample opportunity to do what their class does best. As Dunn puts it, we've built out multiple ways for the player to access and key off their core verbs. For example, Dunn said, the Titan has several ways to earn and extend overshield in a fight. Use the Bastion aspect to create a barricade and grant overshield to you and your allies. The shield throw melee can grant overshield, as does the Void shoulder charge. With overshield, the Titan also gets to get increased grenade recharge and melee damage. As a result of these new build craft options, players can double and even triple dip into these verbs, like overshield for Titans or invisibility for Hunters. As Dunn sums it up, it means you can do the things that your class is supposed to do all the time. Void 3.0 arrives to coincide with the launch of the Witch Queen on February 22nd, 2022. Bungie dev team. What an article. So I encourage you to read through that again if you have any questions, or you can go back to the video. We kind of did a quick breakdown of the video. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Facebook, thank you so much. Please go ahead and hit that like button. And you can subscribe or follow if you're not already a member of the Diamond Club. Until next time, peace out.